Sitting pretty on Brazil's northern shores is São Luís de Maranhão, a colonial gem and a United Nations heritage site. But it's a city scarred by the most horrific crimes. The self-confessed perpetrator is Francisco das Chagas, a bicycle mechanic. He's told the police that starting in 1989 he murdered 41 young boys in northern Brazil. All the victims were castrated. In his defense, he says dark forces were guiding him.
There was always something controlling me, talking to me, like a voice in my head. And it was that thing that determined what happened.
The police don't believe him. They say these were premeditated crimes, pointing out that Chagas confessed only after 2 bodies were found beneath his house, which has since been demolished. The remains of a 3rd boy were unearthed here, where the neighbours' children play. For years, no one had any suspicions.
This is what you might call the chameleon effect. The criminal blends into the community, so from the outside it's impossible to spot him.
In almost every way, this is a deeply disturbing story, from the gruesome nature of the killings themselves through to the fact that Chagas for so long wasn't even viewed as a suspect. But perhaps the most telling thing of all is that across much of Brazil, this case has gone unreported and virtually unnoticed.
That's perhaps because these crimes were unspeakably shocking. Others say it's because they happened in a remote northern state where life is cheap. That's what Rita da Silva thinks. Her son Jonathan was the last of Chagas's victims. He should have been caught after 2 or 3 murders, she says. The police had evidence but did nothing. Why? Because these boys came from poverty. With Chagas confessing, the only question for a jury is whether he was mentally in control of his actions. Depending on their answer, he faces either prison or psychiatric care, and a secure place in Brazil's criminal history. Steve Kingston, BBC News, São Luís.